start streaming. Get on over here. Press this button so now y'all see what I see. Press this one, center up, and now we wait to make sure my voice is working. Good evening, everybody. Okay, cool. That makes sound. I'm gonna turn the Wi-Fi off on that. Sick. Okay, we're basically ready to go now. Gonna get this moved over here so I can appropriately set up my whatever place we're whatever server, that's the word I'm looking for. Secrets, what's going on, man? Welcome back. Sorry I didn't get on yesterday. Was doing lake stuff, boat stuff all day yesterday and hanging out with my friend. So and a little bit later today than what I usually would because we had a storm come through. So had to wait for that to clear. East USA, 55 milliseconds. Okay, let's see. Save that. Okay, cool. We are good to go. If you weren't around, cool. You didn't miss much because there was nothing. There was nothing that happened. Nothing at all. But today, just going to be a Taiwan day. I don't expect us getting over, starting to shoot the island south of here any bits. Just because I want to try to manage the time online a little bit more and like personally manage the amount of time that I'm putting into wearing this device on my face. Okay, I think that's everything. Yes. So, Shift C? Yeah. And I'll tell you what, whenever Tom gets in here today, because he'll drop by for like 2 seconds even if he's busy. I think he's addicted to watching these streams. But, let's see, do I have crap on my eye? No, it's just a reflection. Okay, let's see if we can do this. This thing was being weird last time with its startup procedures, but, we should be okay. What we'll do, we'll actually pull up theirs. For starting engine, blah, blah, blah. All that's good. I wish my throttle was mapped, but it's not. Starting engine, battery switch on, strobe lights on, igniter key on, fuel shutoff valves closed, throttle is closed, starter, I'm going to click that to on. Fuel shutoff valve will be opened. EGT checked. N1 15% increase. Oh, I remember what this one was. This was, I can't use my starter button. I have to actually click. That one, I think. Then fuel. Yep, that's what it was. So my actual starter button doesn't matter to this one. 15% oil pressure check generator. And click that bad boy on. Going through avionics and nav lights on. That's good. Can't put the cover back on. Collective down. Throttle full open. All the things are kind of in the green now. So we're good on that. Hydraulic on. Sean, where did you find the pile of plywood, Home Depot? This feels like an SUV converted to an aircraft. Just don't be like one of the 6,000 people who send me the picture of that Volkswagen bus converted to a fucking helicopter. I swear that is a fucking thing. With my social media, I have put it so deeply and ingrained it so deeply into the universe that I'm going to fly helicopters in real life, and that I'm currently studying. And I was studying right before this. I was doing online ground school while I do my workout. So like everybody knows that I'm into this shit. So anytime something happens with a helicopter, there's a cool helicopter post, people just send it to me. Okay, let's get it going. Welcome everybody to day 27 of Matt commits self-torture and flies himself around the world. As of right now, we're welcoming Secrets, Sean, and Belen all into the chat. Later we expect Tom, we expect Georgia Plains Body to drop in. I don't know, we'll see. The world is our oyster as we go. We are flying in the R-66, which, as mentioned earlier, is, in fact, a pile of plywood that's been turned into a helicopter. But, believe it or not, Robinsons are actually pretty safe helicopters. They get a bit of a bad rap, though, because they're on the cheaper side of purchasing and availability, which means they're used a lot by flight schools, and they're used a lot by people that are just getting started, so it's kind of like a survivor's bias sort of thing. Anyways, oh, also, I was going to make I'm going to sit down real quick. I was going to make a video today because I had a comment on my H125 startup video that says, like, okay, cool, I got it doing this now, but how do you fly it? So, I need to do a how to fly tutorial here soon. So I'm going to kind of script that as we go. And I'll come back and record an actual video. Sorry about the burps, I had some Zip Fizz. But I'll come back and do an actual video tomorrow or something, where I'm not dealing with live viewers at the same time. But if I'm saying something wrong, or it sounds like it's not explainable, please let me know. I'll kind of be doing that as we go today. Like I said, kind of pre-scripting or pre-gaming. So don't mind me over-explaining stuff. So there's 3 main controls in the helicopter. We have your anti-torque pedals down here. You have your cyclic here in the middle. Or if it's like the H125, it would be like this, right here in between the legs. And you have your collective, which is this stick here. The general thing. Oh, look at that. I wasn't expecting you to go live today. Well, I didn't do anything on the lake today. I did stuff on the lake yesterday. And that was mostly work, not exactly fun. But we're here. So, and the rain's passed. So, I figure I'd get it in since the skies are clear here. Yeah, that's why it's only going to be a Taiwan today also. So, shorter flight. But I was just telling everybody I'll be practicing my how to fly a helicopter tutorial. So I'm going to kind of yap and practice what I'm going to say for when I record a video tomorrow or the next day or something. So yeah, 3 main controls to know about. Your pedals here, as you can see, will make you turn left or right, your cyclic here will make you tilt left or right, and then your collective in the center is kind of an up and down. But there's important things you need to worry about aerodynamically. If I were to center my pedals up right now where they are completely even, and if I were to pick up on my on the collective, you can see that we start rotating to the right. And that's because the direction of the main rotor blades moving puts the opposite torque on the body of the helicopter or the airframe itself. So what we have to do when taking off from the same place is we have to put left pedal in. So you can see the left pedal's a significant bit further forward, and you kind of feel it out with each helicopter. So you see our maintenance holding is about that much, and we do have a little bit of wind coming from different directions that we have to worry about as well. So that's one thing that you need to worry about taking off. Yeah, we had a tailwind there, so that's suboptimal. So hovering is going to be a lot easier from this position. You can see I've got about this much left pedal put in to hold us straight with the appropriate headwind. Yep, still a little bit. So some other things you need to know about. It's going to take very, very little effort in anything that you're doing with your controls. So your pedal's probably going to be the biggest things that you do, but even then still, I'm barely moving them. I would say about 95 to 99% of the flying that I'm going to do today. My hand is going to be in the exact same area, same place, and I'm just using my fingers to manipulate the cyclic around here in the middle. So your takeoff, once again, will look like we'll center everything up. So we'll start doing a pickup at first with our collective. So that's picking up this lever with our left hand. And I see that we're tilting back. So I'm going to push forward on the cyclic some. So that way it feels like we're picking up level. And we're starting to spin that little bit to the right. So I'm going to cancel it out. And it's just a game of doing everything very small input-wise. Hovering, though, is extremely hard. Most people in the real thing take anywhere from 5 to 20 hours to figure it out, depending on your understanding and your skill level and your coordination. So this will be Matthew's easy trick to learn how to hover a helicopter by kind of putting yourself into it in a bit more drastic situation. So what we're not going to do is concern ourselves with the engine torque or any of the proper mechanical sympathies of flying the aircraft. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to already give ourselves a little bit of left pedal. We're already going to give ourselves some forward stick. And we're going to pull up on the collective kind of quickly and just get us going. From here, you can get going forward and be as wiggly wobbly as you want to, but having airspeed is going to keep you in the air. And once again, pulling back on the cyclic goes up, pushing forward goes down, left will kind of roll you to the left, right, and the same thing with the pedals. But once you have this forward airspeed, you have this beautiful thing at the back of the helicopter called your vertical stabilizer. And what the vertical stabilizer does is, as you're moving forward, it keeps you pointing forward. So this is a key that we're going to use to help us learn how to hover. Best suggestion to start on that would be make sure you're pointing into the wind, which we know is this direction, because we were taking off in the wrong direction earlier over here. And we're going to do our approach coming into the ramp here, which is by slowly letting down the collective. And I'm keeping this airspeed now, which is like 50 knots or so. And lowering the collective is lowering the pitch of the blades, so we're bringing the whole aircraft down. And as we get closer to the ground, I can start pulling back on the cyclic in the middle here slightly. It's going to slow us down. And you can see that we're going to start turning right as we slow down because I no longer have that vertical stabilizer in the rear keeping us straight. So the way to really get yourself to the point to where you can hover well is picking up quickly, getting up to speed, and then slowly work on slowing yourself down. Because right now the helicopter's holding itself straight. Even though my pedals are lined up, it'll still kind of keep me pointing in the right direction just because of the way the air is moving over it. As I slow down more, I'm still not touching the pedals. It'll start turning me to the right. And the slower I go, the more it's going to turn me to the right. And right now the wind's kind of keeping us a bit evened out. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of my general technique. What do you guys think? How'd I do? Did I sound like I was nervous talking into the microphone? And if y'all haven't been in here before, which secrets, I know you're relatively new to the viewers, but that's how I taught myself, because I don't have a I didn't have an instructor here next to me. So I used my personal knowledge of how it should work, and I used my knowledge of how I know that the aerodynamics work, and I use that to my advantage to teach myself slowly how to hover. Yash, welcome. Don't recognize you, but glad you're here, unless it's just a different name on an account that's been here before. Who knows? I don't think you've been in here before. Anyways, welcome, Yash. If you have been in here, sorry I didn't see you before, but welcome to the stream. Today we're making our way through Taiwan. Yeah, so like typically when you're doing learning how to fly, you have an instructor that will take one control at a time, 2 controls at a time. So they'll manage the, like I said, pedals and cyclic, or they'll once they know that you kind of have the cyclic figured out, they'll do the collective figured out. They'll hold the cyclic and collective and let you do the pedals. So they'll let you see that when you pick up, you get that right rotation or the left rotation or whatever, depending on your airframe. No, don't remind me of the alt accounts catastrophe. The AAC of 2025. Let's see, what's that at? 90, okay. Yeah, so then they'll let you do the pedals by themselves, that way you can see that when you add or you remove collective, that you need to add some pedals in there. And they'll let you do the cyclic by yourself, just that way you can see that there is some drift from the helicopter, because you do have a fan on the back as your tail rotor that's, for lack of better terms, pushing you sideways. So it's something that they ease you into, and then they'll let you do 2 controls at a time, 2 controls here, 2 controls there. But anyways, you don't have that that luxury here. And while you do have the assists, for me, I wasn't casually flying around the helicopter. I would like to think I'm a professionally flying around the helicopters, or competitively flying around the helicopters. Just like casual Fridays means there must be a competitive Friday. I didn't want to learn with any sort of significantly different feels on the controls. Although I had done it once and I had to reload 2020 before, when I first got it started or whatever. And that middle of the river, that's fun. But anyways, I figured that like my first 7 or 8 hours of doing this, when I was first learning how to hover in 2020, was actually with the assist on. So I had to... Oh no, big freeze. Both the streams are frozen. Oh, there we go, we're back. Yeah, both my assists were on, or one of my assists was on when I started, because I had to reload the game, or re-download it, or whatever. And I had just kind of figured out hovering and everything. And I turned the assist off, and it screwed me up so bad, because I had gotten used to what those felt like. So I usually just tell people, like, when they're learning, it's like, look, if you don't want to really get into the nitty-gritty of how it's supposed to feel, then don't worry about it, because that's your thing. You know, you're just a casual gamer who wants to fly the helicopters every once in a while with your bros in the lobby. Cool, you know, not gonna judge. But if you really want to, I don't even want to say challenge yourself, because it's not challenging anymore. If you want to challenge yourself for those first few hours, to figure it out, then make sure all the assists are off, because it completely changes the way that the input's felt. Or that your inputs are felt through the, whatever the helicopter does. I hope Tom gets in here. I flew the 66 just for him today, since he's always asking for it. Yeah, so that's basically how the helicoptering stuff works, you know? It's not super hard, it's just a matter of learning how to pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time. But just with extra steps and extra considerations, you know, if I'm looking at my torque gauge here, which is that bottom right one, which I'll move the mouse to kind of point it to you. This here's our torque gauge. Technically, if I go over 100% torque, I have to land as soon as possible and let maintenance know that I over-torqued the aircraft. But I've always told people, like, hey, when you're trying to learn this and figure it out, like, don't worry if you snatch it up here and you over-torque it, you know? Don't worry about that. Worry about getting off the ground initially and getting your airspeed up just enough to get your vertical stabilizer effective. And then as you actually figure out how to hover and you start minimizing your inputs, because of course the first thing you want to do is do all these crazy movement and stuff, but I mean it takes so little. Like, even the game right here is making this look like more than what I'm actually doing. Little ravine thing. Oh! Do you see what I see? Anyways, bridge. Yeah, there's like other little things where if you're really trying to learn or really trying to be a good boy, then you need to take care of or take care to look out for. Looks like a little amphitheater or something right there. It might be. Looks like a college or something, different unique shaped buildings and shit. Sports fields. But like in a... yeah, it's too close. Like in the game here, like, you shouldn't push forward and do a low G pushover, because that can cause your mass bumping incidents. And in the game, of course, there's the zero repercussion machine. You know, it's not going to end me up in the ditch somewhere. But it's little things that you ignore while you're figuring it out in the game, since you do have that benefit of no repercussions for your actions. But once you start learning how to hover, and once you figure out that, like, okay, cool, you know, it takes this minimal effort to do whatever thing, then you really need to start paying attention to, like, your manifold pressure, your torque management, your temperatures, whatever you have set up to learn or to be like a functional thing to monitor in the game, because you can change it to where everything has damage and whatever else. I've still yet to cause mass bumping to happen in any of the helicopters. I'm sure it could be modeled in, but I don't know if that would just make it too hard for most casual people that were doing this, because I think a lot of people would be flying around and be like, oh man, I really want to go see this, and they would go down and do whatever. But who knows? You know, maybe it's just such a hard thing to model, saying like, okay, cool, well, there's a 0.1% damage penalty that increases the odds of a failure of this percent of whatever part. Who knows? Blah blah blah. Anyways, we're just doing it. I try to make mental note not to do any bumping, just for that reason. Or if I do, the correct way to recover from it, the actual going weightless or going low G isn't the big killer, if you want to say it like that. It's the recovery from the mast bumping, which is the damage causer, from what I understand. I've watched a lot of videos on it because I'm trying to be as knowledgeable as I can. It's like if you see me ever do anything where it's like a hard pushover, like where I do this, I usually allow the airspeed to come in and then slowly reload the rotor system. Because it's the inputs that you do with the cyclic while it's in a low G scenario that allows it to be no bueno. Because typically everything will kind of fall together whenever you do the forward pushover. But whenever you do any sort of movement in the cyclic that is a recovery movement, it'll cause your here we go. We'll imagine this flat surface on the top of the controller being the rotor system. If the helicopter is going this way and the rotor system's going this way, whenever you put an input in, it's not going to affect the helicopter itself, it's going to affect the rotor system. So if the helicopter is doing this, but you try to tweak the rotor system into doing this, that's what's going to cause your incident. So, best practices, if you, like I said, from what I understand, this is just hearing people talk, listening to reports, trying to read up on everything. This, I haven't talked to an actual instructor about it. But if there is a low G pushover, well, shut up. So if there is a low G pushover, it's kind of a hold it until you start reloading the rotor system, and then getting yourself back up out of it easily, so you're not putting any sort of shock movements or changes. But yeah, you y'all's didn't ask for that information, but thank you for it for today. But yeah, I kind of wanted to stay over all of the populated areas here in Taiwan because I know everything's made here. And China, obviously. But I see a lot of Taiwan stuff, so I'm like low-key looking for huge warehouse districts or manufacturing districts. But who knows, like maybe that building right there is has like 50 different brands of manufacturing in it. Who knows, maybe it doesn't look like your traditional large steel building warehousey sort of stuff like it does here in America. Hello, Mr. DX. I think it's Davian? I don't know. I'm trying to remember any of the any of my Russian alphabet, but I don't remember it. It's been so long since I've actually attempted to practice Russian, because I didn't have anybody else that I knew that was that was learning or trying to do anything. With that said, if it would get me a pilot's license, I would highly consider going overseas to fight in a current conflict if they were just going to give me a license and like get me up to speed and let me loose. Like if it was if it would give me real license and stuff where if I made it through the other side, then I would highly consider it. I've thought about that. I've thought about like what it would take for, or how desperate somebody or a side would be to start recruiting completely randoms to come over that aren't helicopter or currently licensed helicopter pilots to come over and fly for a conflict. But man, that'd be a cool way to get into it initially, wouldn't it?
I remember so little Russian for doing like 400 days on Duolingo of it. Like, harashu, I think is you're welcome. Da, yes, is obviously. Militia, please. Coffee is cafe. Or coffee. Yeah, cafe is coffee, basically. Edelfish, what up? Can't wait for Edelfish 3rd to show up. Or Edelfish 7th by the end of this. I don't know what sort of lifespan fish have, so... We do have some lower clouds up here. I'm not sure what weather is supposed to be today. But we'll see. No weather, just low clouds. So far. Oh, hello, friend. With a bear symbol. How does he know that I'm hairy and muscular? Must be watching somehow. Tom, what's up? Look, I did this for you today. I hope you're happy. Flying the slowest turbine helicopter in the game because the game doesn't know that they can do more than 110 knots easily. But I figured it's a Taiwan day, and we're literally just going north of the island to south of the island following the western coast. So it was, if there was ever a day to make it just an R66 day, other than once we get down to the sunshine, then, thing. Yeah, welcome to a long flight. Exactly. Hey, I didn't butcher the startup completely because I didn't remember that I couldn't... I've got a starter button right here on my controls. Just for how they have it built or whatever. I got the buttons like right here in the middle of this. And I had pressed that at first and it actuates the starter and gets it up to like 12%. But it wasn't climbing over that. So then I remembered that we actually had to press that starter button down there. But when at first it wasn't doing anything, I was like, did we have to add like a little bit of throttle because it maybe wasn't showing the correct N1 on the gauge? Blah, 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 whatever. But, yeah, we're good. It's just figuring out why this fucking game can be dumb sometimes. But we're here. What do you mean I butchered the startup also? Were you here? You didn't say anything? Or were you just busy? Couldn't type a little hello to your old friend. And then also I remember that we had or I had figured out that my twisting of my throttle doesn't change it here in the game, at least like what that input there is, but I could twist it by clicking on it and moving it here by using my mouse clicker or whatever. But then after it started up, I wasn't gaining any RPM or anything until I actually did it with my throttle that's here next to me and not my and not in the game. So I have to do like a weird mix of both throttles to make it work. So, yeah. You went back and replayed it. Oh, okay. Only time we touched on when you got 100. Yeah, I remember you saying that, but when it didn't start that first time, because I forgot the starter button thing, I was trying to remember if we had diddled around with other things to make it work. If you suddenly go quiet, your power's out. Okay. R.I.P. Let's hope I can get done with my stuff here before that comes. Looks like I have a big storm-ish in like an hour and 20 minutes. So we're just going to be kind of cruising today, you know? Which, I mean, we're already a fifth to a quarter of the way done, if not slightly more. So, not too worried. I wanted to get this in today. I wanted to do this yesterday, but I figured the weather looked decent enough today that I wanted to try to do it. And even though it's not decent for me here in real life, it's decent enough, you know. Decent enough to give her a shot. We actually had a tornado just like 5 to 10 miles north of where I live last week, which Georgia's not known for tornadoes. We do get them, but rarely are they big. This was just an F1, so wind speeds like 90 to 95 miles an hour. But we get a handful. I would say there's one within 40 to 50 miles of where I live once a year. But out of those, I'd say maybe once every 10 years is it something where it actually like carves a path out with all the trees and stuff. And then even then, it's rarely anything bigger than an F2. F2 is like big enough to start snapping trees off. But I don't remember ever having anything that was considered an F3 moving through. Which if you have like a Google satellite view or a Google Earth or whatever, where you can do the change the image times of like when the satellite view was taken. The recent one that was near me that tore up a lot of stuff was like 3 years ago, I think. I was dating the Brazilian chick then. So yeah, it was like 2022, so yeah, about 3 years ago, I think. What if was it? We get about a tornado every year here. Yeah, it's... I think the one that went through then was an EF2, but if you go to a Griffin, Georgia, Griffin, Griffin, Georgia, and you look at the time things or whatever, if you go to like the year 2000 and you scroll up until now, you'll see like 4 miles due west of the city, there is a tornado path that came up like from the southwest to the northeast. Kind of heading in like an 080 heading, 070 heading. Yeah, but if I say EF1 to talk about the enhanced Vegeta scale, then I have to say an extra syllable when I'm doing it. But without looking it up, do you know the difference between the EF scale and the F scale? You're talking to a guy who won the Georgia State Social Studies Fair 3 years in a row on weather-related things. And a guy who went tornado chasing for my senior year spring break trip. I'm familiar, but I still say F1 just because I grew up that way, just like Pluto's still a fucking planet. I don't know, you're taking a long time to type in it. No idea what the difference is. Okay. The difference is no longer wind speed. It's more about the damage caused. Although they do allow some modifier, just because some tornadoes are fucking massive. And it'd be kind of I don't want to say disrespectful to it, but disingenuous to call something that was like 200-mile-an-hour winds for 45 minutes that only went through a field and only blew over like one tree to call it an F1. But it's now more of a damage thing. So before it was more or less judged on wind speed, where like something that was like 60 to 85 miles an hour was an F0, 85 to like 110 was F1, 110, 140, F2. Anyways, it's scaled up. But they changed the enhanced Vegeta scale to take both into account, to where it does talk about the wind and everything, but it also talks about damage caused and like the sort of path and effect that it had on the surrounding areas. So there's your difference on those. And if somebody wants to fact check me on that, you can, but I'm pretty sure that's what I remember. This was also like 15, 20 years ago when they made that change. I looked at it then because it was relevant to like the projects and stuff I was doing, but I don't really remember. But I'm pretty sure it's just something that's now based on damage and that. Because if you have an F1 tornado that goes through a, and I say F1 as in a 110 mile an hour wind thing, if you have one of those that's moving at 3 miles an hour and it moves through a populated area and keeps swinging around to different areas, it can do damage that's comparable to something that you would see in an F3 or F4, just because of how much time it spends blowing that one house over instead of just one big gust as it moves by. Matt, you're right. Thank you. But yeah, so now they take both into account. Well, it's not completely just one or the other, but they take both into account, so that way they can effectively communicate what it does and how much it does, not just by one metric, but it kind of averages out both of them. But yeah, so that's cool. But yeah, the Griffin, Georgia one, there was one kind of in between, or just north of, there's been a couple of just north of, but there's been a couple of, the bigger one that I remember was like 10 or 12 years ago, and it was north of Forsyth, Georgia. Was it north of Johnstonville Road, which is like the first exit out of town going to the north. And there's like a stretch of the interstate that I would go down whenever I was driving down there, where for like a quarter mile it looked like somebody took a lawnmower and just mowed off every single tree at like 6 to 10 foot high. And it was just like a quarter mile wide path that crossed over the highway. And it's wild because, like I said, if you know where these storms happen, or if you know what you're looking for, you can scrub through just about any area with the time slider on Google Satellite View. Or Bing Satellite View, since we're here in Microsoft. This video brought to you by Bing. But if you go through the time slider, you can pretty much pick up where there was a tornado at some point. Just because of how many trees it plowed over, at least here in this area. Ronnie, what's going on? We're discussing tornadoes, correct? A lot of people moving through today. Glad to see you guys here. I guess it is kind of a holiday here, but most people have to go to work tomorrow. So it's kind of, like I said, I kind of wish I did something yesterday, but I was out performing physical labor a good bit yesterday. And then when I wasn't performing physical labor, I was either drinking or playing with my friend's kid while he was performing physical labor. So we were co-parenting. His wife was busy with the 1-year-old. I had like the 2.5-year-old. And he's at the point where he's learning the names for everything in his world. So he just narrates the entire time that we're doing anything. I mean, anything you can imagine. Got wind pushing us down on this ridge here. Cool. Just looked like it cut down trees, yeah. Like I said, we're not in Tornado Alley here, so I'm not in a place where it's like a big known issue or something. But we also get a solid bit of storms through here, and we also get decent hurricanes and tropical systems that move through, which sometimes spot them. But honestly, I don't consider any of those to really be, I mean, they could be real, I mean, they are real tornadoes. But I still consider that part of just the hurricane damage. In my mind, I really only classify like, oh, we got a tornado that came through when it's a standalone system or like a normal storm system or a front that moves through and causes it. I feel like with a hurricane, you know, a hurricane could hit California. Or I guess it's a cyclone out there. Either way, it could hit anywhere and spawn a tornado. And that's just a factor of those storms being like they are anyways, with crazy different pressure differentials and air masses moving around and everything. It's looking nastier up here, but there's still nothing on the radar showing up rain-wise, so we'll just have a slightly darker stream because of the lack of clouds up there. Oh, there's a I'm in the northern something. Dixie Alley, yeah. Which is the southeast tornado. I forgot about Dixie Alley. Like, if you were to say, like, is there, like, a specific zone in the southeast? Like, yeah, they're kind of common here, but they're not, like, common. I completely forgot it was called Dixie Alley. So, yeah, just back there when we were having the bit of the downdraft pushing us after we crossed that ridge, it was making me think. I don't get on Facebook often. I really only use it for a marketplace. But whenever I do, it likes to give you those pages it thinks you want to follow. Because they want you to look at stuff, and they want you to scroll, and they want your eye time. But, ooh, cool. We're at 100% on that charged. Okay. Put this down here. So, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, yeah. So it was a picture of a Robinson R44 that was on its side. It was up in Alaska, and the report said that the pilot said he was making an approach to an off-airport landing, which is typical when you're doing a... Are they in flood stage here during this photo? Or am I just not loading in? I think they're in flood stage in this photo right here, guys. Because it's kind of messy and stuff everywhere where it looks flattish. That's fucking wild. Okay. Anyways. But yeah, so the guy said he was making an approach to an off-airport landing spot. And he had about a 30-mile-an-hour headwind. Or 30-knot headwind, excuse me. And during his approach, he caught a downdraft, and he was already near max weight because of you're taking people somewhere, and probably having a bit of altitude and everything else as well. It ended up stuffing him. Ooh, there's a racetrack. It ended up stuffing him into the ground a bit harder than they wanted, and I want to say it broke his skid off, and they rolled over to the side where everybody was okay. But looks like a little resort there. Pretty decent looking racetrack. Some good corners in there, good long straightaway, available chicanes. Smaller course on the inside for smaller track days. Slower vehicles are drifting because that seems like a lot more long carried over corners. Very nice. There's an airport in Taiwan that has farming fields between taxiways and runways. Farmers have to drive over taxiways to farm. Taichung Airport is quite a busy airport too. No, that's Hengchun Air Base. Okay. Taichung Harbor. Is this it? Sean, adios. Taichung. Taichung International, okay. Where's my mouse? Is it here? I mean, that looks like it could be it, right? There's airport stuff over here, airport stuff there. Except it's not going to tell me the actual fucking airport name. I would assume this is it, though. This looks like it could be it. Because there's taxiway stuff. Yeah, this is it. It's the same layout. So yeah, literally exactly what you were talking about. Here you go. So there's one runway there, runway 18, okay. Yeah, there's freaking fields here. I mean, Thailand's a relatively small island, so I guess they just have to, like, you know, take advantage of all the stuff they could. Blur it off on Google Earth. Taichung Airport? I mean, I know part of it's an air base, and you'll see something even weirder. All of the coastline of the islands around Greece are blurred out. I think Bing didn't listen to it and actually post it, but there's some agreement with Google where they don't post it because it's like national security threat, something like that. How are y'all telling me there ain't no rain up here? Look at that. Used a quarter tank of fuel, doing good. Is it an Australia thing where people in Australia aren't allowed to see Taiwan airports? Are you a security threat, Tom? Maybe Tom's just a security threat. Oop, these look like big manufacturing areas, doesn't it? Bigger, flatter buildings here, kind of near the port, which is over there. Near an airport for air shipping. This could be a manufacturing area of Taiwan. It's kind of dumb that FlightAware has it. Which, like, I just want to look at the reefs because I was, like, kind of scouting out dive spots and stuff because I want to do a Euro dive trip soon. Like a Euro Lotta trip, and I wanted to put some diving into it as well, and Greece is beautiful, beautiful areas to do scuba diving in. So I was really watching for that reason, or looking at it for that reason. Dang, this cloud just looks mean, doesn't it? Holy crap. Is your 66 IFR rated? We're about to fucking find out. So I am gaining altitude, maybe on purpose. Yeah, a lot of them on my Google Maps, I haven't seen a blur on it, so maybe it's an Australian thing. Strange. Do you have any enemies in Taiwan? It's stupid. Would be stupid for trying to fly higher up into this freaking cloud in an R66. What's the rule? 3152 here in America. 3 statute miles. 1,000 foot above, 500 foot below, 2,000 foot to the side. Do you think I'm considered 500 foot below, or is this touching? Oh, we're clearing now. So, my friend and his now wife are doing their honeymoon in Japan because he's a significant part Japanese. And he happens to have a full sleeve tattoo on one of his arms. Anyways, super nice guy, you know, like, just as good of a guy as they come. Love him to death. But we were making the jokes that he's going to be mistaken for Yakuza because of his tattoos, and the fact that he's American. He's a bit bigger than, or has some American enemies bigger than most Japanese people. Why am I? Y'all don't see the blue plus signs, right? That's just my my field. Take that out. Okay, yeah, it was just my left controller was near the edge. Anyways, he said he got they're kind of making jokes, or we were making jokes about it. But he said like they were at Disney or Universal or something out there. And he said he heard one person like point to their kid and be like, "Dangerous, stay away," or whatever. But he said now they were, I'm going to quote where the wife said this, "We were riding bikes to the train and some little kid almost crashed into him and said, 'Excuse me, Yakuza.' And his mom was mortified. 'We're not in Tokyo anymore, folks.'" I'm saying he has street cred. That's fucking funny. So yeah, one of my homies is now Yakuza, which means if I ever go to Japan, I want to bring him with me, just so I get like VIP treatment everywhere I go. How far along are we? Is it? We're halfway-ish. Not bad. I think this one I have is an airport, so we can do a... We don't need the fuel stop, but we're gonna do it just as a thing, you know? Tom's email just says stupid as the title. Oh, dude, that's straight blurred out. That's wild. I wonder if it's a, I wonder if it's because you're there and because Taiwan's been in such threat by China that they just kind of block it out for anybody in the area, because I feel like Chinese people being in Australia is a relatively common thing. So they just don't want people going there and getting their information for like sleeper cells and whatever. So maybe they just kind of blanket block it out in like most of the surrounding countries. But with Greece, because I think it was like Greece and Turkey that are just always kind of continuously beefing about whatever. I think with them, I mean, it was blocked out for me here in the U.S. Also, it's funny, look at this, the stuff in the valley. There's houses and stuff kind of in the woods here, but there's no roads until you get up to the ridge up here. So it's just like a stripe of road on the top of the ridge. That's cool. You haven't done anything to Taiwan yet, and that's because they keep blurring out their airports, so you can't do it, so you can't do anything. It's now impossible for you to do something, in fact. I'm sure if you Google it, there'll be some explanation or something about it. Because when I saw that all of the Greece waters, the greasy water, when I saw that all the coastal waters of Greece are blurred out, I Googled it, and it was like, oh yeah, because of their ongoing conflict with Turkey, or Greece has significantly stepped up their cybersecurity or informational that about their borders and stuff for any foreign country, blah 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 blah. And then like you go to Bing and they're just like, oh, by the way, and Bing doesn't give a shit about their rules, so they just posted it anyways. Yeah, Taiwan seems kind of cool, you know. I don't know if I'd want to live here, mainly because of like language barrier and stuff like that. Being right next to China, who keeps doing like mock bombing runs over the international airspace and stuff. It's like, you know, like probably not the best to live here, just with the way the world is, but geographically seems pretty neat. In a pretty warm spot, so you're not in a super cold area, but you have some decent mountains there in the middle, so you still have some wild. I mean, you can see there's no development in the mountains there, at least from the satellite view. Orange Jeep, what's going on, my dude? I wonder if... Oh. Hey Tom, they're not blurred in Microsoft Flight Simulator, so if you download the game, you can zoom in and see it. A lot of farmland, though. More than I expected. Greece airports are blurred. Tom, I think you just might be a threat to everybody. You need to write like a 5-page essay and turn it into the teacher, and maybe they'll take you out of timeout. Or maybe they should just tell all the Chinese people in Australia to download Microsoft Flight Sims. That way they can get full, unadulterated. Let's see, the coastlines are blurred for us here. Nope. We got good water here, because all this was blurred. Let's see about the Grecian airports. Nope, all good. High detail, look at that. Can count the cunt hairs if I wanted to. Yeah, good water. I mean, you can see reef and stuff, everything. Cool. Poor Tom can't do anything. Or maybe Australia is just turning into like North Korea. They don't want you knowing anything about any other place. Who knows, maybe next week my stream will be blocked for you and we'll just never see Tom again in the stream. Hey, that looks like more manufacturing area down there, doesn't it? What do you know, Taiwan does build stuff. Who would have thunk? Yeah, this seems very manufacturing, like all these little buildings and areas. Which that's kind of the reason why I decided to take this path down over all the populated areas. Not just because I didn't want to fly over the cool, neat looking, beautiful mountains they got up there, because I wanted to see the manufacturing aspect of all of this. Because I know it's a big manufacturing hub. Yeah, so if Tom stopped showing up, we just know that Australia blocked YouTube. Nobody there can watch anymore. They're like, what are we hiding? We don't have any functional aircraft here. No, they have like 1 or 2 flights that come in every day, but you have to like go through China. Then it's a plane that goes directly from China to there. It's something like that. Because I have heard of people visiting for mission trips or really it's more mission trips that I've seen. That Fun for Louis guy that I was talking about that flew in the that whatever plane up the coast of Africa. He did one where he went to North Korea. I want to say like part of their mission, they were there for like 2 weeks or something like that. Of course, they were heavily, heavily supervised by people that worked for the state. And like, you know, there were restaurants that are kind of specifically built for foreigners to see and to visit, and there's like planned and approved routes that they have to take where they don't have free reign from what I understand. But I think the purpose of their trip was like not even a religious mission, it was like a charity mission type thing where they brought in a whole bunch of like surfboards and boogie boards and stuff, and they were teaching kids who lived on the coast how to surf and to do something that was something that they've never done before, you know. I've never looked for one of those air choreo flights. Like, I know they exist because, like I said, I've seen videos of people who get into the country, and I know that you can with all the right paperwork. But man, they have to be careful going in. I mean, they go through your phone. They go through all of your socials and everything, from what I understand, to get you to a point where you're approved for entry. They may not backtrack on everything, but they'll kind of search and they'll see if you're allowed in. But I know that when he went, they brought all of their cards were blank, memory cards. They brought completely new computers, so there is no footage on them. They brought brand new hard drives so they could save their footage too. I mean, nothing had any sort of information on it, and I don't remember if they were posting the videos while they were there, or if they were given internet access by whoever their supervisor was, or if they were allowed to leave with the footage. But like I said, everything they did was so monitored and so so supervised anyways, and they probably couldn't get any footage of what's actually happening there. Although sometimes I feel like it might be kind of nice just to not have all the internet access and all the shit going on. Oh, more manufacturing areas. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, it's also funny talking about zero planes flying over there. As soon as the Great Street Shitters War started kicking off a few weeks ago, it was almost like instantaneous watching everybody start avoiding the northern border area between India and Pakistan. I mean, it was like basically as soon as airplanes could leave that airspace, and they were out of there. Like there was a handful of carriers that were preemptively keeping people out, but as soon as insults or bullets or whatever started flying, it was like, cool, if you're over the airspace, continue your course, because that's probably the quickest way out. But everybody else was rerouted almost immediately. I mean, you look like Ukraine, there's nobody flying over Ukraine. Yeah, I'll do a shutdown of this fuel stop and do a restart for you. I'll even do an auto down into it. I'll do a circle over it once just to kind of like see where the fuel station is, and we'll do an auto to it. That way we can kind of air cool the engine a little bit on the way in, you know? Because hot starts don't mean anything to me. What is that off to the right over there? I think it's just some roads that happen to line up and look like something. Oh well. Airport should be up there. Plus, we don't have a lane with us today, so we have time to shut down and enjoy it a little bit. Usually we can't shut down when she's with us, and for the hopes that if she goes to the bathroom that we can get out of there really, really quickly. But she's yet to hop out like that on us, so we're just going to continue being hopeful for that. Maybe one day. Surprised she's not in here right now, actually, because this is one of the built-in helicopters from the sim. Oh, I ordered 6 more pounds of my secret thing that I'm working on, by the way. And I'll be doing my first taste test of the preservation capabilities of it tomorrow. So that'll be something I'll be taking notes about. When was the last time we saw her? She was in a shenanigan episode the other day, or shenanigan session, but it's been a minute. Because I've been doing a lot of non-standard helicopters, just to be more like GA helicopter typed. Maybe she's still in Russia somewhere. No, I'm not going to tell you via email. No, tell me what it is via email. No, y'all will know once I can verify that it's working and good. Because if it spoils after like 2 weeks, or doesn't cook the way it does now, where you were to make it now versus making it in 2 or 3 weeks, then kind of a failed idea. And then I'll just tell you then, because then it's okay, cool, no big deal, it fails. But if it's successful, that's a different thing. I want to make sure that I have everything. I don't want to say locked down, like there's no trademark or whatever. There's no patent, no nothing like that. But I think that's our airport in front of us there. Of course, it's not going to tell me. Sequoia City Government. Honestly, the market's not that big. If I sell 100 units a week, then I would be happy. Like, that's even on like the high side of what it is, you know. Like 100 units a week would be like me having in like 5 different locations, and then 20 units a week getting sold from there. It's not a big thing. But yeah, 100 units a week would probably net me around 130,000 in profit. This is a pretty spout. Ronnie, adios. Thank you for being here. We'll see you on the next one, hopefully down in some Filipino type areas. I honestly don't even know the name of any of the countries like south of this, so just like whatever's down there, that's where we're going to be. I think the fuel stuff's down here on the south side of the runway. We're doing this steep approach sort of thing, aren't we? Who knows, I could work for the FDA and already know what it is. Oh, dude, 35 bucks. 35 bucks for something that gives you 30 to 50 servings. All natural. No bad ingredients. No GMOs. No pharmaceuticals in the beef product. Literally clean eating. Cost me like $10-ish to make. I can sell it for $30-ish a pack. Like I said, if 100 of those sell a week, there was like 20 at 5 different farm shops, or 20 at a farm shop and 80 online or whatever, then, you know, it's good. And I can't make it too big because then it won't store that long and people aren't going to eat that many, so I have to make the packs small enough. What a weird hangar area for this thing. You see this, all the weird parking pads and shit? Of course, Tom can't see it because he's not allowed to look at airports. But whatever this one's called here, CHIAYI, Aero. Like this whole runway thing here is, or taxiway setup area is very interesting. I want to say I've seen or heard or done some flights in one of the sims out of different places like this before, but I don't know. I don't remember. Okay, let's see if I can just do an auto with my hand throttle, or if I need to reach down and do it with a... Yeah, we can do it here. Okay, we're now in auto rotation. Coming down here to the south end of the runway. Currently full down on the collective. I'm trying to keep 65-ish knots. I'm not sure what VY is here, but I'm going to kill a little bit of distance here. Slowing down a little bit to extend. Kind of aiming for this truck that's parked down here on the ramp. It looks like the fuel station may be to the left over there, but we'll see. Push forward, not to overspeed. Do like a last minute 90-degree turn in. Up on the collective slightly. Pulling back. Yeah, there's our fuel station. Hello, horn. A little rough. That was on me. Anyways, we're going to just shut down here because we're going to restart this bad boy. This is... See, why does the throttle not do anything there? Weird. Okay. Anyways. And I'll give myself the excuse on the 66 here that I've flown this helicopter like 3 times. And I think Tom's watched all of them. Still used as an Air Force base. Oh, okay. Okay, battery on. Nav lights off. Strobe on. Key on. Leaving that off currently. I've got to use my starter button down here. Watching N1 go up. Go away. Just gonna see what I'm doing. Fuel on. That's going up. I don't remember there was a generator limit or whatever, but I'll wait till like 60 or whatever to put the gen on. Gen. Avionics. Nav lights. Oh yeah, buy the book shut down. Quick. Now that we're up in scoots, and I'm gonna turn that up because it does matter for some reason. And then turn up in my hand because that matters for some reason too. Manage torque as I'm turning it up. FFFFF. Fuel's full. Actually, let me click your little button down. Come on, mouse. Mouse, do something. There you go. A little bit of left pedal. A lot of left pedal. Where's the wind coming from here? Windsock. I don't know, a lot of left pedal right now. The windsock's way the hell out here. Dumb. How much longer do we have? Oh, wind coming from the right. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. We have We've done 2/3 of the trip. I'm actually going to cut some time off here. I kind of put it down here because I wanted to stay near this, but I kind of want to touch the mountains a bit. So we're gonna shave off this angle there and do a wee bit of mountain flying. When I say mountain flying, I mean just like less populated area flying. I don't need hydraulics. My arms are strong. Also, I technically never turned them off. I don't think I clicked the button when we turned off, but I think maybe turning the battery off did a shutdown of those for me. I believe. Just like it turned off the nav and strobe and everything. Also, look at my landing light switch. Yep, yep. I've got a switch on my cyclic. No tall bridges? Man, Taiwan, you suck. Can't fly under that. Safely. I did switch it back off. Okay, now just because I'm angry at myself, we're gonna throw another auto in here real quick, and I want to land softer. We're aiming for the brown square. There we go. Much nicer. We can fly under that. I mean, we did just do a fuel stop. Come on, get your RPM shit. Come on. Don't bitch at me. Oop, particles are making it laggy. There we go. What is this, like a 1.6 heading? I'm happy with that. Just gonna be a cruising. Tom, do y'all do any instructing down there, or is it strictly tours only? Because I know a lot of tour places here also have an instruction program. It's like a part 61 usually. Sorry for the wiggles, guys. I'm readjusting. I feel crooked. You know, people complain about Robinsons, but like I wouldn't mind having one. I'm not going to complain to have a helicopter. What is it? One of the things a lot of helicopter brokers and stuff do, one of their favorite lines, is when somebody's looking, let's say they're looking to purchase a AS350 or well, even cooler. Let's say they're getting an H130. You know, luxury, wide, looks sleek as shit. But let's say it's got a black and white paint scheme and the owner wants like blue to match their other stuff. or the new purchaser wants something that's more blue. There was like, man, you know, this helicopter's like got the right hours on it that I'm looking for. It's at a good price. It's nearby. All their paperwork's in order. It like everything's there, but it's black and white, and it's not blue like I wanted. I wanted a blue helicopter. And their go-to line's always like, oh, well, what color is your neighbor's helicopter? Like, my neighbor doesn't have one. Like, cool, then why are you worried about the fucking color of it? If you want to change it one day, you can. You know, getting into the fucking aircraft thing's not a cheap thing to do. But also, like, cool, what color is your neighbor's helicopter? Trying to do instruction, but insurance is not happy about it. But there is that many schools around here. So I know something with Part 61. Or no, I think it's Part 41. There's 61 and 141. I forget which one. I think 61's through college. I think 141's doing it more independently or through a non-structured program. Either way, so the one where you're not doing it through a collegiate program here, if I were to buy a 22 or a 44, or let's like say a Swicer 300, or fuck it, even if I buy an A-Star, I can hire or just pay an instructor to come and instruct me in my own helicopter. Is that something that's allowed down there, or do you have to go through a school to do it? Or do you have to go through like an approved, whether it's a school or just a helicopter company that also offers it, or are pilots or people allowed to buy their own aircraft and have an instructor teach them in their own aircraft? Also 6 people in here. Hope y'all are all doing okay. We're on the southern side of the Taiwanese island currently. Working our way down to the southern tip for today. Not going to do any island hopping yet. We're going to save that for our next installments. May whip out the 160 again just to cover the ground and do the autopilot thing. Just because flying over the water is kind of boring and doesn't let me interact with chat as much because you really have to watch your horizons and everything, so. Yeah, we have people that come and hire our aircraft with instructors, but it's getting insurance for our operating flight school. Oh, okay, gotcha. So, kind of a little way, I don't want to say around it, but the helicopters are for hire. And if somebody wants to rent the helicopter, and then they do it what they do with it, as long as there's a licensed pilot that's in the control of it. Gotcha. Wonder how much wind play we're going to get over these ridges, because it got us pretty good back there when we first started flying today. Wonder how much wind stuff we're going to get here near the end. It's not that big of an island, so I assume it's experiencing, give or take, the same-ish weather everywhere. But we're going to try to keep positively trended altitude. 500 feet a minute, 98% power, but only doing 90 knots. Ugh. And I also kind of feel like maybe the game really cucked the 66, because they have these things for cheap in the career mode. I think it's like 450,000 or 390,000 or something. Anyway, it's cheap to buy an R66. And the H125 is like $2 million. So maybe they just like severely restricted this one just to I don't know, make it less desirable so that way people don't just buy a shit ton of 66s, which is what I did anyways. I use the 125 that I want to fly, but the rest of the crew can use the 66. There's a flight school at nearly every airport around here, sometimes even two. Oh, wow. What sort of path do most people take there? Do most people do, like, utility piloting? Or is there or is most people's path of employment aiming more towards, tours or, medical type things? Because I know a lot of people here in the U.S., they just kind of like, they see the medical side and they say that's all we really want to do, and they go and do tours for 2 years and they get their hours and they get hired on with Air Evac Life Team or somebody, and then they just do that forever then. Which, like I said, even though I want to do utility stuff for a bit, just because I think the skills learned there are invaluable to have, I definitely want to work into medical at some point, just because, like I said, I want to have a family, and it's much easier to have a family when you're not on hitch for a month or two at a time in Angola or somewhere overseas or across the country or whatever. %90 of the students are getting the commercial, then they're just trying to get a job wherever they can. The other 10% are rich 50-year-olds who want a helicopter. Makes sense. I mean, like the helicopter that parks behind Curtis's shop out there, it belongs to the owner of PWR Motorsports. So that's just a rich 50-year-old dude who wants a helicopter. It also saves him a hell of a commute, too, because if you watch where it flies from and to every day as a commute, they do a pretty decent leg with that 505. I don't know if it's PWR Motorsports. It's PWR. They make, like, coolers, radiators, oil coolers, trans coolers, any sort of high-performance cooler you see used in a lot of motorsports, they do. That'd be such... I wouldn't... I don't say I'd love to own a business one day where I commute in with a helicopter. Because I feel like if I'm commuting in, then it shouldn't be at a place to where I need to be there every day. Where it's like, cool, if I can afford a helicopter, I feel like the business should be running pretty well without me there. But if I ever do get to the point where I get to the honor and the privilege to commute in with the helicopter, that would be sick as shit. I do plan, though, on commuting for the film job once it picks back up, though. Especially if I grab a 22, or if I'm fortunate enough to be able to grab a 44 to where I can actually bring weight with me, depending on the day. Like, I would really enjoy a 22 just because they're small and nimble and just, like, super fun. You know, at least in the game they seem fun. I assume I'm going to have fun regardless of what I'm flying. But a 44 would be much more practical for my line of work, where there's days where I need to bring different guns and ammunition and whatever to work to do things. But at that point, it's a matter of looking at the money and cost of everything, you know, as it is. Because I can more or less justify a 22 for personal use. If I use it if I'm somehow able to use it every single day that I work doing the gun stuff, then I make enough in a day to pay for the hours, depreciation, maintenance, everything. Like, I would make enough to cover that. or even I'm able to fly it half the days, then it's that much better for me, because some days we're not working somewhere where I could fly into. On days when we're going way out in the middle of somewhere, it'd be worth it to throw a 22 or a 44. I mean, even a 44, if you're talking about self-ownership to where you're not paying a company for it, where they're trying to make $1 on their lease and everything as well. I mean, what's 44 ownership cost? It's like $400 an hour worth of flight. And I could fly to work in like 35 minutes, basically anywhere that I would need to work. It's like $500 a day, flying it, maybe. That's not that bad. I mean, it's bad. It's significant, but it's not terrible. Because when I'm doing the film stuff, I make decent, If I start doing more stunt work, then I'm definitely making decent. So that all depends, But it's also something where if I have it, and I'm friends with my flight school that I go to, I could also lease it to a flight school where whenever I'm not using it, it's it's stored there and it's used by them or whatever, or I can use it for what I need to, then I can have them use it for the rest of it, or have them use it up front until it gets within 200 hours of overhaul, then I take it back over myself and fly it, but also have it listed for sale, or whatever. Ownership's definitely in the future, though, which I know you have more experience with that just because of having managed all of that before with y'all's fleet. But I do see ownership in the future, one, just because it's a dream, and it's not something I'm going to give up on. Work slow right now, but like I said, I'm also chasing this other thing where I feel like I could easily make $100,000 a year if I play it right, which on top of my normal money that I make would put me well into the realm of playing with that. Yeah, it's all fun at the end of the day, You can't take the money with you as long as you set yourself enough aside to where you can do what you need to do, then it's not that big of a deal. George, for some reason those aren't... Oh, wait, never mind, they did come in. Okay, cool. I'll save it real quick and... I'm playing middleman here. Now go to him. I do reply. Okay, Tom, I'm sending an email to you. That way you can break the law and see what airports look like in Greece and in Taiwan. It's working its way towards, though. It's uploading right now. It's 2 pictures. Man, we are up to 115 knots. We are finally booking it here. Sand play. Hello. Did you comment? Okay, okay. We are over Taiwan right now. We are currently playing Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Tom, it's still uploading. You have to hold in there for a second. But don't you worry. This has been a group effort just for you. Start cutting more this way. What were we literally just talking about? Helicopter ownership, that is. Oh yeah, I probably got the emails a while ago. I just don't look at the top notification thing on my phone. I just kind of look at the chat as it's going, and that's really it. Well, it's working on sending. It'll get there eventually. It's probably having to go through like the Inspector General there in Australia. Also, Tom, do you know anybody who flies for McDermott? Because I know we were talking about the 214 STs and stuff the other day. I forgot to ask if you knew anybody who flew for them. Good little farmland and stuff out here, not bad. There you go, Tom. You also have an email now. This has been a group effort from the chat to supply you with some of those naughty airport pictures. Oh, nice. From like everybody who I follow online and things that I've seen, they seem like a pretty solid company. Helicopter name, this is the Robinson R66 turbine. You can tell that because it says it right there. Right there. And it says it right there, R66 turbine. I am playing that torque, dude. I am asking for everything this little fucking model of this helicopter can handle. Push forward on the cyclic just enough. I'm edging the shit out of this helicopter. New tires on the way. None of your helicopters have tires. Are you talking about the motorcycles? You said you have a lot of KTMs, right? Or is this something else? I've been low-key craving a motorcycle here recently. Not even low-key, I'm telling everybody, like, man, I really want a bike, but gotta be good. Gotta be good on my savings and everything while we're slow in the film industry. Husqvarna, yeah, that's right. Is this a streetable bike or is this a dirt bike only? Because I'm curious if you do like a half and half tire, if you're like one of those 80-20 splits, or what your preferred. Or I mean, if you're just doing dirt tires, you're doing dirt tires. It's no big deal. Just another set of knobbies. Okay, pure dirt bike. Oh, so that little shitty Apollo 110 that I bought for my neighbor the other week. I take it out every couple of days just to go up and down the street, make sure it works. You know, don't let it sit too long. And I had taken Dino outside earlier today to run him around some because the storm was coming. I wanted to make sure he got a little bit of exercise before it came through and rained it out. Another $300 said, no, stop doing burnouts on them. Stop riding them on the pavement. You're doing it to yourself. But, yeah, so I go up the garage, the shop, open up the shop door. Ooh, wind came out of nowhere. Open up the shop door, he comes in with me, and I bring it out, and, starts first run, but it was also warm in the garage, so it died really quick because I had full choke. So then I take a little bit of choke off, and it started up and ran. And he's kind of watching me, but I'm like hyping him up the whole time. I'm like, Dino, you ready? Come on, bud, we're gonna do it. So I start riding down the driveway, and I'm like, come on, bud, run with me. So he ends up running down the driveway with me, following me on the bike. And I turn around, and I don't want to say I chase him back, but he was in front of me, and I don't know if he was like scared or startled. But he was kind of playing like stay away. And then I decided to go down the driveway again a bit faster. And I live near the cul-de-sac, so I drove out into the cul-de-sac and did a circle of it twice. And the whole time I'm like, yeah, dude, come on, follow me. So he's kind of running like 15 feet behind me and following me around. So anyway, I don't think he's scared of the dirt bike now. So whenever I'm going out to just ride a few little circles or whatever with it, then I'll run him along with me so that way he can get some different version of fast exercise, you know? Only 5 to 10 hours out of a set, jeez. Is it just the terrain you're riding, or are you that aggressive with your riding where you're doing more like supermoto type like riding? Because I feel like that would be easier on the tires, doing like pre-set up tracks with a softer dirt and ground and everything. I feel like if you're probably exploring, though, you're probably being a lot more aggressive riding quickly through like harder packed ground, rocks, and yeah, there you go. You're breaking. You're one of the few people in Australia who've seen the aerial photos of that airport, so you don't get that on any other stream. Yeah, I could see aggressive riding through different areas, like I said, depending on the ground or whatever. I mean, like, hell, me even riding that little 110 thing, as soon as I am not on pavement, that back wheel is almost never at 100% traction. And we are hard on tires. Good. It's the way it should be. You ride at the limit for fun, then you can know how to be at the limit safely. Or you know how to approach the limit safely. Where are these airplanes coming in from? They must be high. I don't see anything up there. Oh yeah, I could definitely see Rocks doing it, because they don't really make off-road tires out of I don't call it a super durable rubber. They have to be durable enough. But they want you to have traction, so it's typically a softer rubber compound than a lot of stuff. But it has to be hard enough to where with the knobs, it's not just going to rip it off the main lamination either way. But yeah, dude, like I said, on my 110, it's rare when I'm not on the pavement that I'm riding in a fashion where there's traction with the rear tire. It's either I'm all the way on the throttle and I'm not having traction, or I'm downshifting and it's either backing into a corner a little bit, or I'm hard on the back brakes and I'm trying to skid it around a little bit. Because at the same time, I'm also practicing more stunty oriented type things. So if I ride this thing consistently, I don't see me getting a super long life out of it. But I'm going to buy like a supermoto type tire next, because I think it'd be funny as shit to drag me with it. They have little mini bike races near us that I could take it out on. Are multi-directional, so it's supposed to last longer. Interesting. Hopefully get a sponsorship if they're good enough. Well, best of luck. One of my good friends who I do the shooting stuff with, and who has the property that I do the riding and stuff on, he used to be a pretty heavily sponsored rider. I want to say Speed and Strength sponsored him for a bit. Yamaha sponsored him for stuff. He's worked his own companies where he would get bikes like pre-release and start developing like stunt cages and stuff for them, where he can sell those pre-made where they would bolt on. So he's been very heavy into it. Just hasn't a lot recently because of family and other jobs and stuff. One of the races you was called Transmit, 8 to 12 hour long race, and we go through a set of tires per race. Jeez. Is it like a multi-lap sort of thing, or is it like a point A to point B, or just like a super, super long point A race? Because I think like a super long cross-country race would be neat. I mean, I don't want to do like a Dakar type thing to where I'm spending days and days out there. It'd be fun. It'd be exhausting and rewarding to complete and to do something like that. But that's not exactly what I'd want. Like a 1 day long race where you're going like 100 miles through a course out into the wilderness or something, or through wherever and coming back, and it can be technical to where you have to be crawling at some times and more flat out, kind of like a King of Hammers type race. King of Hammers is also sick. If you're not familiar with King of Hammers, the American race that's here with big off-road trucks that are not dissimilar to trophy trucks, but it's way more aggressive. It's super cool. I would love to go to King of Hammers, especially after King of Hammers, and work it as a pilot, because a lot of these rigs, they're the trucks are relatively light. You know, like the heaviest things like the axles and the engines and roll cage, which is basically the whole truck. But it's not like you have a shit ton of safety equipment and other stuff with it. But some of these side-by-sides and trucks, they get stranded and broken down or whatever, to where you, in places where you can't get a tow truck, you can't get an off-road recovery vehicle, you can't winch it out, you can't pull it out. The only way to get it out is to go up. So they'll bring out Hueys, 412s, like the 1214 that's here in the States, and they go out and they start lifting the broken down race vehicles from off the course after the race is over. Roughly a 30-minute lap, and you can either do it solo or in teams of 2, 3, or 4. Oh, nice. Whoever does the most laps per class. So if you do it solo, if you ride for 10 hours straight, jeez. Y'all do it solo, or do y'all do it as a group? Because that's fucking impressive. I mean, either way, it's impressive. And endurance racing in itself is an extremely impressive sport, regardless of if you're doing it yourself or as a team. Because, like, the repetitive nature of it, especially on a motorcycle, to where you're not just, I mean, even in a car, you know, you're mentally engaged the entire time, depending on the course. If it's a good, fun course, then you are mentally engaged and lightly physically engaged the whole time as a car driver. But as a motorcycle guy, like, I've done road trips on bikes through mountains like this, and it's demanding, you know, just doing road trip stuff. And I don't ride cruisers, those were all on sport bikes, and I was having fun with it. So, like, I'm more engaged than your typical Harley rider who's riding his couch down the road. But I mean, it's a physically demanding thing to do something like that. So props to you regardless. I mean, 10-hour ride. Most of the time it's a team, but I want to do as a solo for next year's round. Nice. Yeah, props either way. I mean, that's... People would think like, oh, you don't need to physically train for that. You just go ride your bike and make sure you know how to ride it. Like, there's got to be some... I mean, you could do it no physical prep. I mean, I'm sure if you ride enough, then you're more or less prepared, but to do something 10 hours like that, that's a lot of fucking effort to put into that, to be of competitive nature at the 9-hour mark, to where you're not misriding or doing any like weird slip-ups because you're not mentally there anymore. Is it like, what area of Australia is it in? Is it down near where you're at? Or further south? Or is it... Because isn't the western side much flatter? I know you got some pretty aggressive shit like this over south of you. Yeah, we're getting down here now. We're kind of just following-ish the coast down, and we can see the little town. I don't want to use that. I want to use my pointer. You see the town way down there. That's where we're heading. Oh yeah, if you want to be competitive, you got to be in the right shape. Because yeah, there are going to be people who do it without the full mental or physical prep. And their results will show, you know. It's like, it doesn't matter if you're a natural rider or if you're not physically prepared to be absolutely beat to death by riding in off-road terrain for 10 hours, much less 2 or 3 hours for your leg if you're doing it as a team. Then best of fucking luck to you, because your physical ability to ride a motorcycle means absolutely nothing after the first few hours. It's like, yeah, guess what? I can sprint. I can't sprint forever. I will check my local weather once we land, and I'll see. Because if there's a storm coming through, I'm not on a power brick or anything. So I don't like risking the computer. Or a surge protector. I'm on a surge protector, but I'm not on like a saving power brick thing. So it kind of depends. We'll see. I know I'm supposed to have a bit more storm coming here shortly, but TBD. This water's blue as shit right here, isn't it? A lot of blue roofs and stuff too. Or those little storage ponds, maybe. No, those are like little... Maybe like a fishery? I see some aerators down there and around the corners of some of those. Maybe a fishery? That would make sense. If anybody has their maps available. What are these? Kind of down here near the crook at the bottom of Taiwan, wherever this river feeds out into it, there's a shit ton of these things, which I'm assuming is fisheries. That's my best guess. Oh, there's more of them down the coast here too. Griffin area. I'm near Griffin, Jackson, Hampton, McDonough, Locust Grove, Sonoya, Peachtree City, Forsyth. that whole little halfway between Atlanta and Macon sort of area. Oh, also, speaking of halfway in the area, Georgia plane spotting. If you want to meet up soon, I forget the day. I think I saved it in my screenshots. Why do I screenshot so much shit? I don't know even where I'd look. I'll go to the Facebook page. All right, actually, I'll let you look it up so that way I'm not fucking trying to do this. But if you go to the Facebook page for Peach State Aerodrome, which is little airport here nearish me. Oh yeah, I got a big storm coming my way, which will be landing just as it's starting to hit, so hopefully we'll be good. But yeah, Peach State Aerodrome. They have a vintage fly-in day soon. I plan on being at that if the weather's good and it still exists. So if it's something that you would like to come up and check out, because a lot of cool fucking GA planes and stuff like that, then definitely let me know and email me or hit me up on Instagram or something, and we'll meet up and eat some food, talk planes and shit like that, you know. And who knows, maybe even a helicopter will show up. We have Peach State Aerodrome, and it's their Facebook page, I think, is where they post it. And they're sharing events called like Vintage Fly-In or Vintage Days Fly-In or something like that. But I want to say it's either end of this month or middle of next month. Or hell, it might have been this past weekend. I don't know. It might have been 2 days ago. Except the storm's moving northeast, so I think it's coming towards me. And of course, like I said, I'm Griffin area, so that's not my exact place. I'm still waiting to receive not the main line of it, but that giant pocket of secondary shit. So you can joke about that, because y'all don't have them down there, but I carry a gun everywhere I go. So if he wants to play a quick draw competition, we'll play a quick draw competition in front of everybody there. And also, I don't know if Georgia plane spotting is a man or a woman. I don't think he's ever said. So if he's a man, I have no reason to kidnap a woman, though. She could bear children. That's worth the effort, then. It's worth the attempt. It's worth the risk. We'll post a picture on the Instagram of both of us holding our guns at the car. Show off the Tom, like, cool, look, we met up. When the group trip finally makes its way out of the group chat. My friend sent me one, but it was fucking all shit from Rhodesia. Dang it, you're not worth kidnapping then. I guess that makes it easier for me then. They got little helipads here, very cool. Yeah, the vintage days, there's also another fly-in that they do that I know of 2 a year. I'm sure there's more that I just don't pay attention to. But they have like a vintage days, and they've had like one that benefits. They have like a after school program thing there where kids can go there after school. They learn how to do A&P shit, and they like rebuild a plane, and then they sell that plane to help fund the next group that comes through. And all the kids will be that much closer to getting A&P or whatever if they decide to go that route. Ace Driver, what up? We're literally just about to land for the stuff today. We're close to the fucking end down here. I don't think it's that big of a deal for you to cross your license up here. I think the biggest thing is for me to cross my license somewhere else. That seems to be what the biggest deal is. With that said, if you're just vacationing by yourself, and let's say you come through the Atlanta area, if I'm licensed by that point, I assume they teach you something, although I think it's FAA only, I don't know. Do y'all do SPAR 73 down there? The special things you have to learn to handle a Robinson? If they have that down there, then you could always fly left seat to where I'm PIC, and then you could wiggle sticks under my supervision as a licensed pilot, or you could do an SPAR 73 course here, which is simple enough, and then you would be allowed to, but I couldn't legally let you wiggle sticks unless you've sat through the 73 course, at least for the US. Let's see, that's our airport right there. We're kind of going down to that side of it as far as I know. June 1st, 9 a.m., 9 p.m. I will see if I'll be able to make it. Oh yeah, fly solo, I don't know about that. Okay, whatever airport. This is helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey. We are 3 miles to your northwest inbound for the ramp. We'll be direct and we'll stay clear of your active. Whatever fucking tower you are. Well, also, I'm trying to keep it shorter today. I got a lot of weather coming through here, so. And also, I think I'm about to step up my workout regimen and do a morning workout and an evening workout, which I usually do my evening workout before I do these streams, because I watch my online ground school from Hogs at the same time. But I want to start doing a morning workout too, because I've felt very weak and slacked and no energy the past week or two. So I want to try to fix that by making myself physically exert more. So I'm also trying to stream. I would have been earlier today, but fucking computer was fighting me. But I'm going to try to be slightly earlier now. Hopefully shorter legs if the course permits. Of course, if it's going to be a 3.5 hour over the water trip, there's nothing I can do about that. But if we can do shorter legs, we'll do shorter legs just for me being more conscious of my screen time with this thing bolted to my fucking face. Wow, direct crosswind, that's fun. We'll take a front quartering. But yeah, so they're going to be, again, Eastern time, like 9 o'clock-ish. And I want to try to, like, finish them by midnight, which is 10 minutes till midnight now. If I can do earlier, I'll do earlier, because like I said, I'm readjusting my workout times and stuff to hopefully correct that a wee bit. Or to correct myself a wee bit, should I say. So who knows, maybe we'll have some streams starting at like 6:30 or 7 o'clock our time, which would be like 2 hours. Look how stout that fucking sock is right now. That's wild. The reason I came down here is because the helipad is here at this location. Look at this headwind. I'm not moving right now, and then we've got a 20-ish knot headwind. We're in fucking ETL just sitting here. A lot of left pedal here. Like, it's enough left pedal to where it's hard to push right pedal physically, just because like I don't have that much, like that foot's brought back so much for this. Okay, now this can be a relatively quick snap. Fighting the wind. Very cool. Wind picking me up right there. Okay, throttle down. There might be shenanigans, just found out. There's a town north of Griffin called Experiment. That town was an accident. Every 2 months, why so often? Well, I mean, if he's driving the shit out of dirt bikes like that, he's getting a pretty good workout without actually, like, lifting weights, so. Good on him. Post-flight shutdown, collective down, throttle closed, fuel shutoff valve closed. Rotor brake engaged, avionics master switch off, generator off. Let me get my laser pointer real quick. Hey, got a pretty good stop there. Could you hold there? No, wind. Battery switch off. We'll leave the strobe light on, so that way in case we left something on, then we know about it. See, that's kind of annoying here. The starter doesn't auto-click off. Cool. Yeah, that's something I'm curious too. I know Chuck talked about it a bit. I'm going to hop out here before it kills us with this thing. Escape. We can kind of pre-flight tomorrow as well. Which I know Chuck kind of talked about it. That it's not that bad, that like some particular aircrafts are more. Take that off. That some aircrafts are more accurate than other aircrafts, and just gotta throw it on the 160 so we can see what range is. And I think he said like the Like the Bell 47 is like a really, really good flight model. But in FSX, which is another, is it FSX or X-Plane? In X-Plane, they have a better R22 model. This is end of the transiting for today. I may shenanigan for just a couple of minutes. Okay, so it looks like there's not a fucking thing on these islands here. They're pretty to fly over, but there is nothing for us here. There's an old airport here, but nothing that's in use. First in-use airport is down here. Barrett Island, Mabug, which they seem less than proper. Strip also. Duke, Georgia Plane Squad, thanks for being here as always. See ya. I might go to Atlanta on June 2nd because Etihad will do their first flight to AT on the day. Oh, that'd be a cool one to see. Around my home airport in Osiris. Whoa, everybody mark the day. This is the day that Tom did not tell me to go fly in Australia for a shenanigan flight. Let me throw the L3 up real quick, just to see what the range on that is. Not that this one has autopilot or anything, but I'm curious what it shows me as far as range. Okay, cool. It can do it, just slower. Yeah, that's going to be our biggest jump there. So yeah, free flight. Let's come over here. Home airport. There's Warner Robins. There's Griffin. This will be the one I do my training out of here, Henry County Airport. Airplane. CIRR. Saving back. And we're going to do definitely not live weather because it's rainy as piss right now. Time, we'll do daytime. Are you trying to make me fly? Oh, all the way over there, yeah. Set as arrival, yeah, whatever. Delete arrival. Flight conditions. Live weather's off. Clear skies. Okay, cool. Let's boogie. Why are you on the ramp?
Kilo Hotel Mike Papa traffic.
I'm pretty sure I didn't set me to start on the ramp, but I'm not going to complain about not going through startup procedure.
Kilo Hotel Mike Papa traffic.
Okay. Cool by me. Welcome to Henry County Airport, also known as Atlanta Motor Speedway Airport. Let's see, do I feel good here? Cool, we don't need no flaps. Not where we're going. Runner up, park and brake off. Off we go. Takeoff flaps, beep, 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 don't care. Already said we don't need flaps where we're going. Yes, that is Atlanta Motor Speedway, just off to our east. That's why it's called Atlanta Motor Speedway Airport. very cool thing about the United States as far as NASCAR tracks are concerned. There's usually a sizable airport right next to them, because the NASCAR teams will actually get like the Embar, whatever the hell ever fuck you pronounce her name, the ERJ 145s, 190s, stuff like that. And that will actually be the team airplanes, and there's actually companies that cater to multiple different teams. So they can, oh, there's Ace Driver. What up? I see you there. So they will actually cater to different teams and fly in the teams from like North Carolina, South Carolina, where there's typically all of the stuff going on. So they'll fly them in early enough to start working on getting the pit set up and practice and everything like that. And then of course like team owners and stuff will fly in like day before or the day morning of. And then as soon as it's over and they're packed up, they start running flights out of here to send them all the way back up to the Carolinas the same damn night. So I see you, Ace. I don't know if you'll see me because I'm on non-live weather and non-live time. So I can see all people, but I don't know if all people can see me. But I do see you down there. So that's where they want you to feel like you're on some big highway or an interstate or something like that. But usually, and that would be this road right here off of our left side, because it's 2 lanes one way, 2 lanes the other way, and they even have like that merging ramp there. And it's not as busy as it even is right there. It's a very unbusy stretch of road. So if they want to shut it down, they usually shut it down here at this intersection there, so that way people can divert that way or that way, and then they just have to go through town to get over there. Now, fingers crossed.